Hello again, feral friends and fellow nature nerds, and thank you for tuning in to this Dirt Dispatch number 54. I'm your host, Tim the Nature Nerd O'Hara. So, Dirt Dispatches took an episode off because I was both traveling and moving. And on the last episode of the full podcast, I told you about a couple of the birds I saw during my visit to Puerto Rico. For this Dirt Dispatch, I want to talk about something I didn't see in Puerto Rico, but I did here in Puerto Rico. The coqui. Now, coqui is the common name for at least 17 species of small frogs that are native to Puerto Rico. They're onomatopoeically named, something I seem to be encountering a lot of lately, for the loud mating call that the males of two species, the common coqui and the upland coqui, make at night. Coquis are one of the most common frogs in Puerto Rico, and fossil records and genetic evidence supports coquis having inhabited Puerto Rico for more than 30 million years. And in fact, the coqui is an unofficial national symbol of Puerto Rico, with good reason. Researchers have found petroglyphic images of coqui, including in a cave on Puerto Rico's Mona Island, filled with 13th century petroglyphs depicting the culture of the native Taíno people. The repeated coqui symbol suggests coqui were very influential in the art, poetry, and decorative works like pottery in Taíno society. Coquis are small tree frogs, ranging in size from just over half an inch to just over 3 inches, 15 to 80 millimeters. They come in a variety of colors, too: brown, yellow, green, and gray on the top, and either white or yellow on the bottom of the body. Their genus name, and hopefully I get this right, Eleutherodactylus, is Greek for free toes, referring to the fact that they have no webbing in between their toes, which differentiates them from many other types of frogs. Although that said, in the southern U.S., Central and South America, and the Caribbean, there are more than 200 species of frogs in the Eleutherodactylus genus. Instead of webbing, these frogs have special discs that help them climb and stick to trees and leaves. Now, as tree frogs, coquis live, as you might expect, in forests, both humid and dry, at elevations up to 4,000 feet, 1,200 meters. They have even been found sharing the nests of several species of native Puerto Rican bird, like the Puerto Rican bullfinch, the bananaquit, and the Puerto Rican tody. It's also common for coquis to show up in parks or near bodies of water or in people's houses. Now, like I mentioned, coqui frogs get this name from the mating call of the male, which sounds like they're saying coqui or coqui. In fact, in one Taíno legend about the origin of the coqui, a goddess fell in love with Coqui, the chief's son. She told him that she would come one evening, but she never showed up. Instead, the evil Huracan, the deity of chaos and disorder, arrived. The sky blackened and the winds picked up. The goddess tried to protect her lover, but Huracan grabbed him away, and they never saw each other again. In order to cope with the loss of her lover, the goddess created a frog that will forever call out his name. Male coqui frogs use this call to attract female frogs and establish their territory. When multiple male coquis are found in the same area, they challenge each other's domain by singing. The losing frog usually flees and tends to relocate to another area or compete for territory someplace else. Males start singing around sunset and continue throughout the night until dawn. Now, coqui reproduction is kind of unique among frogs. Although coquis can reproduce all year long, the breeding season peaks during the wet season, April to October. Female frogs lay 15 to 40 eggs at a time, roughly 5 times a year. But coquis differ from most other frog species because coquis lay their eggs on terrestrial plants. Most other frog species lay their eggs in water. The males gather up the eggs to provide protection, guarding them in a nest. And because the eggs have to stay moist, male coquis will periodically leave the nest to collect moisture to keep the eggs hydrated when they start to dry out. Coquis and their fellow members of the Eleutherodactylus genus also have an unusual life cycle shared by only a few other frog genera. While most frogs start out as tadpoles, when coquis hatch, they're already tiny frogs with short tails, entirely skipping the free-living larval tadpole stage. This life cycle, where the tadpole stage is completed within the egg itself, is referred to as direct development. Once they reach their adult stage, most coquis don't live more than about a year, although the National Wildlife Federation states that some coquis have been found that are as old as 6 years old. Now, coquis in Puerto Rico do face some challenges. The environmental degradation caused by Hurricane Hugo in 1989, Hurricane Georges in 1998, a 2-year drought from 2015 to 2017, followed by Hurricanes Irma and Maria, both in 2017, all had a massive impact on the rainforest in Puerto Rico, including the resident coquis population. Rises in average temperatures have already increased the incidence of a fungus in coquis that reduces the reproductive capability and increases mortality. And some studies have shown that long-term temperature increases from climate change have resulted in alterations in the coquis' calls, significant increases in pitch, and the shortening of their duration. In addition, the increased temperatures have also been shown to reduce their body size while also reducing biomass. This could have serious consequences because coquis frogs play an important role in the Puerto Rican ecosystem. If temperatures continue to rise, coquis as a whole are predicted to look and sound very different over the course of the next century, and their survival depends on the female coquis' ability to adapt to these changes. If the inner ear of the female coquis don't adapt to hear the higher-pitched calls of the males, that could lead to mating issues. In addition to the potential for coquis populations decreasing, having smaller coquis eating or being eaten by other organisms could destabilize the whole food web of Puerto Rico's rainforest. It's not good. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. Hearing the coquis in Puerto Rico was a highlight of my visit there, and I'm looking forward to going back and experiencing more of the rainforest. And on that note, my friends, we bring this episode to an end. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to support the podcast, here's how you can do that. Become a patron. Subscriptions start at just $5 a month, and with 3 paid months, you get some very cool Dispatches from the Forest merch. You can find all the details at patreon.com/dispatchesfromtheforest. You can donate using PayPal or Venmo in my email address, dispatchesfromtheforest@gmail.com. You can also use that address to email me if you have questions, comments, or requests for a future episode. You can donate using the Cash App and the hashtag ForestNerd. If you prefer to send a check, just shoot me a message and I'll happily provide my new mailing address. Check out the merch store at cafepress.com/shop/dispatchesfromtheforest. Click on products and find something that you like. Finally, follow Dispatches from the Forest on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. I'm your host, Tim the Nature Nerd O'Hara, reminding you to go outside and get dirty. Dispatches from the Forest recognizes that the lands where we live, work, and recreate are the traditional homelands of the Eastern Shoshone and Northern Arapaho people. We understand that this land holds immense significance for the original stewards, native nations, and peoples of this region. Dirt Dispatches is a production of Dispatches from the Forest. It may not be used or rebroadcast whole or in part without express written permission.